Think about the last person you couldn't stop thinking about. Not because they were the loudest in the room, not because they texted you constantly, not because they tried hard to impress you. Actually, it might be the opposite. They barely seem to try at all. That's not an accident. There's a specific set of silent behaviors that make people miss you, not when you're gone for weeks, but sometimes hours after you've left the room. And most people are doing the exact opposite without realizing it. This video is going to change how you show up in every relationship, every conversation, every interaction. And I'm holding the most powerful one back until the end, because if I give it to you now, you won't understand why it works. Stay with me. I used to be the guy who was always available, always responsive, always there. Someone texts, I reply in seconds. Someone needs a favor, I'm there. Someone wants to talk, I'll talk all night. And I genuinely thought that was the way to make people value me. Be reliable, be present, be a lot. But here's what I started noticing. The people in my life who I thought about the most, they weren't doing any of that. They didn't over-explain themselves, they didn't fill every silence, they didn't need to be needed. And somehow, they were the ones I kept thinking about after we talked, the ones I'd check my phone hoping to hear from. I realized something uncomfortable. I wasn't memorable, I was just available. And available isn't the same as valuable. Here's the thing nobody tells you about being missed. Most people think being missed is about absence, like if you just disappear for a while, people will start to want you. That's half true, and the half that's wrong is what ruins it. Being missed isn't about how long you're gone. It's about what you left behind when you were there. Think about your favorite song. You don't miss it because it stopped playing. You miss it because of how it made you feel while it was on. People don't miss you. They miss how they feel around you. That's the whole game. And once you understand that, everything I'm about to show you will make perfect sense. There are 5 silent behaviors. You don't say a word to execute any of them, but they leave a mark on everyone around you. Let's go. Behavior 1. You leave before the party ends. Not literally, but in every conversation, every hangout, every interaction, you end it slightly before the other person is ready for it to end. Most people do the opposite. They overstay, they run conversations into the ground, they keep talking until there's nothing left to say. But when you end things while the energy is still high, when you leave while they're still laughing, still engaged, still wanting more, that energy doesn't disappear. It transfers, and they carry it with them after you're gone. The brain doesn't remember things that ended naturally. It remembers things that ended too soon. Behavior 2. You give your full attention, then you leave. When you're with someone, you're actually with them. No phone, no distraction, no half listening while planning what you'll say next. Just fully, completely there. And then you leave, and suddenly they're back in a world where nobody does that, where everyone's half present, and they feel the contrast. That contrast is what creates the missing. You showed them what real attention feels like, and now they want it back. Behavior 3. You don't explain yourself. Most people over-explain. They justify everything. They need you to understand their decisions, their schedule, their choices. Quietly confident people don't do that. They say no without a paragraph. They change plans without a 10-message apology thread. They move through life without needing permission or approval. And that self-contained energy is magnetic, because most people are starving for someone who just knows who they are. You can't pin them down, and things you can't pin down stay in your head longer. Behavior 4. You make them feel like the most interesting person in the room. Not with compliments, not with flattery, with attention. You ask questions that go one layer deeper than everyone else. You remember small things they said 3 weeks ago. You notice the details they didn't think anyone caught. That feeling of being truly seen is so rare that people will replay the conversation for days trying to figure out why it felt different. They won't realize it was you. They'll just know they want more of it. Behavior 5. You're the same person whether anyone's watching or not. This one is subtle, but people feel it immediately. Most people perform. They're louder when they want to impress, quieter when they're unsure. They shift based on who's in the room. When you're the same in every context, same energy, same standards, same sense of humor, people trust you in a way they can't even articulate. There's no version of you they haven't seen. You're not hiding anything. And people don't miss who they don't trust. They miss who they feel completely safe with. Now, the one I held back. The reason I saved it for last is because it only works if you already understand the others. If I told you this at the start, it would have sounded like generic advice. Now, it'll hit different. Behavior 6. You don't need to be missed. Not as a game, not as a tactic, for real. The most magnetic people you've ever met weren't trying to be missed. They weren't tracking who texted back, who showed up, who cared enough. They were just living fully, quietly, intentionally, on their own terms. And that energy is impossible to fake, but it's also impossible to ignore. When you genuinely don't need validation from any specific person, something strange happens. People start wanting to give it to you anyway. They chase what isn't chasing them. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about actually being someone with a life worth getting to. The irony is, the second you stop trying to make people miss you and just become someone worth missing, they start missing you automatically. You can't manufacture that. You can only earn it. Here's what I want you to take from this. You don't need to say more. You don't need to do more. You don't need to be louder, funnier, or more impressive. You need to be more intentional about how you leave people feeling, because people forget what you said. They forget what you did, but they never forget how they felt standing next to you. Stop trying to be unforgettable. Start being someone worth remembering. That's the whole thing. Start there. Quick thing, if this is hitting different, subscribe. I drop videos like this every week, and they only get better from here.